Hey, welcome to the How to Talk to Girls podcast. This is your host, Trip Kramer from tripadvice.com. And today, on this episode, we're going to be talking about the top 5 regrets of dating. That's right, we're going to be going over one by one the biggest regrets that you're going to be making in dating if you don't fix some of these issues. And I highly suggest that you wait until the very end because every single one of these are very powerful. So definitely check them all out. And basically what I did here is I'm basing these off of the top 5 regrets of the dying. This is an actual book which is called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. It's a book by Bronnie Ware, and she goes over these top 5 regrets of people who are on their deathbed. And so I'm transforming these into what I believe are going to be your top 5 regrets in dating and things that are actual personal regrets of mine when I first got into this process of learning how to meet women, how to attract women, what women want, right? This whole skill set here. And so I'm going to be going over, again, all of these for you so you don't have to make those mistakes. Now, I also want to tell you about a new program of mine called Hooked. I've been talking about this on other podcast episodes. If you don't have this program yet, I want you to check it out. I'm going to be going over the top 5 regrets today, but if you want to really take this skill set to the next level so you don't have to regret anything anymore, then I want you to check out the program at getherhooked.com. And when you go to the URL, there's going to be a little bit of a video there. You're going to watch the video. It's going to basically tell you everything that's going to be in this program and give you a little bit of a background of my story and how I was able to fix the issue of not being able to meet and attract beautiful women. So I want you to check that out at getherhooked.com. Okay, the top 5 regrets of dating. Now again, I'm going to be reading to you what they actually are in terms of from the book, right? The top 5 regrets of the dying. But then I'm going to help you apply these to your dating life. Okay, so let's start with number 1. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Does this sound familiar? Because this one is really applicable here, extremely applicable. Because I bet you that you are acting in such a way right now that is not living true to yourself. I bet you that you don't have a lot of the courage that you would want to start meeting women. I bet. I'm just taking a guess here because I know that many years ago, I did not have the courage to live a life true to myself. I was living a life that others always expected of me. I was living a life in terms of only meeting women through the ways that we are taught in society, which is what? Through friends. At this point, online dating is pretty popular. But I also remember a long time ago, online dating didn't even exist. And so the only option I had, or at least in this reality that I thought I had, was just meeting through friends or maybe getting lucky and running into a girl at a bar, but I would never have the courage to actually go up and speak to someone that I didn't know. So that was never going to happen. So I want you to think about how this applies to you. Is there something that you're doing right now in terms of dating and meeting women that is very typical? The thing that everyone else expects of you? Maybe you're getting set up on dates, or maybe you're just focused on online dating, or maybe you're just swiping through the apps, but you're not really having the courage to go out there and do some sort of approach. Maybe it be on the street. Maybe it is at a bar. Maybe it's at the grocery store. How many times have you seen a woman that you wanted to go up and actually speak to, but you didn't have the courage to do it because you thought, you know what? That's not what people do. That's weird. That's abnormal. Talking to a stranger is weird. I can't do this in front of other people. I can't have other people look at me while I do this. This is so strange, right? Maybe you thought that. Well, when you're doing that, you're just living a life that others expect of you. You're thinking that you need to follow society's rules and everything needs to be in your little comfortable box. And then hopefully one day you'll end up meeting the girl of your dreams somehow through a friend, through a swipe. But you're not really putting yourself out there, not having the courage to really say, you know what, I can go up and I can start a conversation. Now, as you can see, I'm a very big proponent of what's called cold approach, right? I know these days it is a lot easier to meet women because of the apps and online dating, but I know plenty of guys who have told me, and maybe this is you included, who are not having a lot of success with that. You don't need a lot of courage to go up and go on your phone and do a little swipe. You don't need a lot of courage for that. But you do need a lot of courage to actually go up and start a conversation with someone. The problem is with these apps, with all these different online dating sites, there's so many women that it ends up not even working out because they're getting bombarded by messages and you're just sitting there hoping for the best with not a lot of results. So I want you to think about that. Again, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. What are you doing right now? What are you doing in terms of your dating life where you wish you could actually do the things that you really want to do but you're too scared to do? Again, a lot of this really lies in the approach anxiety and starting the conversation with the girl, and actually having the courage to tell a girl that you're in the friend zone with that you like her. I bet you're too scared to do that because you know that if you say something to her that she might reject you. Well, you know what? You go for the rejection. You do what you need to do to continue living your life and stop living in fear. All right, let's move on to the next one. The next one is this. I wish I hadn't worked so much. And this one is very applicable to dating. Very applicable. I bet you that if you're listening right now, you're thinking, and sometimes in your life, you know what? I will not be able to go out and meet women and do approaches. I couldn't even have the time to do it. I work so much. I have school. I'm doing school and work. I live in a place where it's too far for me to drive to meet more women, and that takes up too much time, and I'm working all these hours, so I can't do it. Okay, let's get into this for a second. I bet you that there is absolutely a way that you could figure out to fit more time in your schedule to go out and meet women. If you're listening to this right now, if you're hearing the words out of my voice, that means that this is somewhat of a priority to you, meeting an amazing woman. And so the regret here is that a lot of people wish they hadn't worked so much and had more time to do the things that they wanted to do. And for you, that is finding a great woman or having amazing sexual journeys with multiple women. Whatever it is that you're looking for, I bet you're not prioritizing the time to make it happen for yourself. And every single person who's ever told me, Trip, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to go out and meet more women. It's just not possible for me. And then I look into their schedule, and every single time, 100%, I have found at least an hour a week, which is, by the way, not that much, but at least an hour a week when they can go out and they can practice talking to girls. Yes, it's not that time consuming as you think, and there's not much time that you really need to put into it to actually get some results. Now again, I'm hoping you do this multiple hours per week, but even if you can carve out 1 hour of your time per week, the results will start coming in as long as you're consistent. I'm not saying just an hour per week, 1 week, and then you never do it again, and then 3 months later you do another hour. Obviously that's not going to be very helpful for you, but if you end up doing consistent work on this and you give yourself time, and you don't just focus on one area of your life, meaning, in this case, work, and you give time to your priorities, to the things that you want, to the things that you desire, I'm promising you it is going to be well worth it. So, like I'm always encouraging on this podcast, enough of listening to the podcast. If you have time to listen to this podcast right now, then you have time to go out and meet more women. So, listen to that regret. Again, it's I wish I hadn't worked so much. So, create balance in your life. Don't just be focusing on one area, in this case, again, work, and put some more time into the things that you desire. Finding an amazing woman. Now, this third one, this is really the best. This is the best here because this is going to relate to a lot of you guys out there, okay? Number 3 is I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. Now, isn't that interesting? So let's take this off the topic of dating for a second, although I know that this one is definitely related to dating, even in this context of the top 5 regrets of the dying. But a lot of people wish they had the courage to express their feelings, to speak out, to say what they wanted to say, to communicate to the people they wanted to communicate to. In this case, again, it's probably a lot of husbands and wives and girlfriends and boyfriends. But I bet you that if you expressed your feelings more to the women that you were interested in, it might help a lot. I bet that there's a girl right now who you're probably very interested in, but you're very scared. Like I was saying earlier, you're scared of that rejection, but you don't have the courage to express your feelings. And let me tell you something. And I've had this regret too. There was girls in the past that I've liked before, but I was too scared to let them know. And now years later, I do regret it because I'm realizing how ridiculous it sounds to have not have been able to express my feelings towards a girl. Now again, it's not about expressing your undying love for her. Okay, that's a little too needy, and I don't believe in actually falling in love without having a actual relationship with someone. But I think that it's up to you to be able to flirt with a girl, to be able to show your intentions, to ask a girl out, to not sit there in the friend zone while she dates other guys because you're too afraid to express your feelings. And again, we don't have to be going into a lot of lovey-dovey, here's flowers and gifts and you're amazing kind of talk. No, what I mean is just being able to communicate that you are a man, who is interested in a woman. Just that bare bones idea right there, that you are interested in a girl, that you want to take her out. I have a lot of guys that I work with, clients, and I take them out and help them approach girls, and through their interactions, never once does the girl have an idea or even a hint that the guy is interested in them, because they're just having this kind of, boring, platonic sort of conversation. Never once does he flirt with her. Never once does he give her a compliment. Never once does he try to, give her a soft touch on the shoulder, for example. There is nothing there that says, I am interested in you. And that's what I want you to do. That's what I want you to do. This is what this is one's all about. I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. And for you, it's about showing a girl your intentions so she knows that you're interested. And don't be scared of the rejection, because let me tell you something. Years later, I promise you, you're not going to be upset that you once were interested in a girl and she was not interested in you back. You're going to be happy that you went for it. Because you know what happens if you don't go for it? I mean, this is just common sense here. Then you never know what's going to happen. A lot of guys focus on the what if in terms of the negative. What if something bad happens? What if she rejects me? What if I get embarrassed? No one ever asks, well, what if she ends up liking me? What if we have an amazing date? What if we end up having amazing sex? What if she becomes my girlfriend? What if she becomes my wife? No one ever does the what ifs and the positive. It's always the negatives. So I want you to flip your thinking. I want you to live in a whole new reality here of thinking about the positive. So you have the courage to express your feelings and show your intentions when you are with a girl. Now the next one here in terms of the top 5 regrets of the dying is number 4, which is I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. And of course, this is talking, again, kind of about balance. People prioritize other things over than their friendships. And I'll say this, there's been many studies done that have shown that people who are happy are people who have a lot of good relationships in their lives with their parents, with their family, with their friends, with their lovers, right? It's a lot about relationships. So that's kind of what it's saying here, right? I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. But the way I'm going to interpret this for you as a guy who's trying to get better with women, with dating, with socializing, is that you should not underestimate the power of friendship with girls, okay? That's how I see this in terms of women and dating. A lot of guys don't really try to make girlfriends. Again, not girlfriend, like she's your girlfriend, but a girl who is a friend. A lot of guys don't really focus on that, and that's a big problem. For many reasons. One, if you have girls that are friends, you will have access to meet more women, okay? And this is going to be even easier for you to meet women and them to be attracted because you're going to be introduced by a girl who's already vouching for you, right? So I believe that having girlfriends can be very powerful in being able to meet other people. Not the only way to meet other girls, but definitely one way to actually do that. Now, in another sense, it is very powerful to have girls that are friends and stay in touch with girls that are friends and not just focus on guy friends, because when you spend time around a woman, even if it's a girl that you're not attracted to or you don't want to sleep with, but she is just your friend, you still get to really understand how women think and how women feel. Now, of course, you can listen to this podcast and I can give you a lot of great information on what women want and what they're thinking and what they're feeling, but you really get to experience it on a whole other level, on a visceral level, when you are actually with them. When you're with them, when you're hearing their thoughts, when you're hearing about their escapades in dating, when you see how they act, when you understand the female energy. A lot of guys do not focus on having girlfriends. They just are trying to either hit on the girl and that's it. But what I want you to do is I want you to start friend zoning girls. And again, I'm not talking about being friends with the girls that you're in the friend zone with. I'm talking about friend zoning the girl. hanging out with a girl without any intention of sleeping with her and just to be her friend. It is extremely powerful because you are going to understand what it's like to be around that female energy. And of course, like I always say, reference experience is one of the biggest things. You can listen to this podcast and you get a lot of great information, but you're going to learn so much more when you're actually taking action. Okay, so again, we're talking about the top 5 regrets of the dying. Number 4 is I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. And in this case, I'm telling you to stay in touch and make friends with girls, because this will be a significant jump in your skills when you get to spend time around them. Number 5, and this is the last one, and this is a very powerful one. And I think that this is going to be pretty powerful for you in terms of your journey here in meeting and dating women. So let's get into this. Number 5 is I wish that I had let myself be happier. It's so intense. Like I read that, I'm like, oh man, like it really gets to me when I hear that. Like, wow, that's a big regret for people who are on their deathbed. They look back at their life and they said, I wish I'd let myself be happier. Meaning they were probably stressing out all the time over the little things. And they look back and they realize that those little things were completely meaningless. And that they look back and say, wow, I just wish I would have been happier in those moments. I wish I wouldn't have stressed out. I wish I wouldn't have been so upset. I wish I wouldn't have taken that so seriously. So many times in my life I could have been happy. I could have let things just slide a little bit. And I could have focused on what I have in front of me and be grateful for what I have. Now, how does this apply to women in dating? Well, there are many, many moments when you're going through the journey of meeting girls that you come down on yourself. You come down on yourself really hard because you go out and you get rejected, or you go on a first date, you don't hear back from the girl, or maybe you get embarrassed a little bit because you approach a girl and she says no and someone sees, and then you let yourself sulk. You go to this place of, wow, I'm not good enough, I suck, this is hard. And you're going to have those times in any journey of growth, right? You're going to have those times where it's going to be tougher. You're going to say to yourself, oh man, I suck, I can't do this. And I'm telling you right now that I want you to let yourself be a little bit happier in those moments. I want you to think about this as a fun, exciting adventure that you're going on. Not some sort of, oh, this is a lot of hard work and then you're outcome dependent, which means that you're just focused on the goal itself and you're not focused on that journey and enjoying the time. Something I was saying to a client the other day that's really, really powerful is the idea of going out without any expectations. Yes, you can carve out time during your day, during your busy schedule, and you do have expectations because you're going out to meet girls, but why can't you make that fun? Why does it have to be in your mind work? Why can't you look at that hour a week as something that's fun for you? A time for you to interact with people, a time for you to make a moment in your life with another person. This is a time for you to enjoy communication with another human being. I mean, I don't know about you, that sounds fun to me. Some of you guys might be listening to this and thinking, that sounds miserable. It's only miserable now because you haven't done it enough, but it can be a really rewarding experience in itself to just go through the motions and the process of meeting women, of talking to strangers, of breaking down that shyness inside of you. Why can't it be about that? Why can't it be about that part of the journey instead of what's to come? What I'm trying to say is I want you to look at this as a way to be happier. To take the moments of frustration, of stress, and rewire them and reframe them into a way that says, hey, you know what? I'm actually on a very unique journey right now that most people don't take. And of course, I don't want you to compare yourself to other people, but in this moment, it does help a little bit, doesn't it? To know that most guys are not going to be going out and putting themselves out there, that most guys are just going to be, being an average guy and meeting people through their friends and hopefully finding someone on online dating. And once they finally get someone, just settling with that person and having some sort of mediocre relationship with another mediocre person. That doesn't sound fun. That sounds terrible. And you, my friend, you get this opportunity. You get this opportunity because you're listening to this right now. However you got to this podcast, whatever led you to right now, this is a moment that could literally change the whole course of your life. Because I'm giving you the idea that you don't have to live the life that you think you need to live. You don't have to sit here and be upset. You don't have to sit here and sulk. You don't have to be a guy who's just going to do what everyone else does. You can do things a little bit different. And you can do it in a way that helps you, that makes the journey more exciting for you, in a way of reframing your thinking to say, you know what, I'm not going to let this moment get me down. I'm going to be happier about this. And again, these are really big concepts here. Right? We're talking about I wish that I had let myself be happier, and you can take that through all different areas of your life, including this journey that you're taking right now. I know that these top 5 regrets are something that I'm going to be paying attention to in my life, in dating, with women, with every day. I mean, let's learn from these. Let's learn from the hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people who have been saying these 5 things over and over and over. Let's learn from their mistakes. Let's do it. I want to do it with you. So I hope this helped. I hope this is something that is going to encourage you, that's going to inspire you. That was the point of today's episode on the How to Talk to Girls podcast. Now, don't forget, again, if you are a little stuck and you're like, well, I don't know where to start. I don't know how to go out and meet girls. I'm too shy. Well, let me give you the opportunity right now to check out my latest program, like I was talking about in the beginning of the episode, called Hooked, which you can check out at getherhooked.com. And I teach you some of my infamous flavor formulas, these flavor formulas, little techniques that help you attract more women and help you get the type of dating life that you want. So check that out at getherhooked.com. Again, I hope this inspired you today. I look forward to talking to you again on the next episode.